Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. I want to thank those that are already jumping on live. We appreciate you being here. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Natali Brown. Natalie is a heart-centered, or a heart leader, spiritual well-being mentor, and multidimensional channel for the planet, guiding us to activate our energy systems and upgrade our bodies. Her calling was originally sparked by her grandmother, but she was too young to understand. We are here today to talk about her life's journey and how she now believes that her purpose is to help you discover the magic within you. I'm so excited for this. Welcome, Natali Brown. Thank you so much for being here and taking some time out of your morning to hang out with us. You're in New Zealand, right?
I am. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's really great. Yeah, so we're ahead of you guys. You said you're cooking dinner and I'm having breakfast. So there we go.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, thanks for being here. I kind of want to jump right in because I have just so much that I am interested in knowing and kind of pulling from you, just to kind of learn about this so much more. I'm always so intrigued with topics that I am unfamiliar with, and this would be one of them. So I wanted to start out, if you don't mind, by kind of talking about your year and letting us know kind of what's a really awesome thing that's happened to you over the last 12 months, and what's something not so good that's happened to you over the last 12 months.
Oh, goodness. It's certainly been a roller coaster, I think, for everybody. And one thing, I feel that we just have to take every single moment as it comes, because that's what life's all about, is experiencing every single moment. But yeah, my 12 months has been one of inspiration, of creation, of putting my work out there that has never been before. It's never been before in this world. It's new to humanity. So with everything, new, you have this uncertainty, you have this kind of self-judgment. Am I doing the right thing? You have this sense of, are people going to receive this in the right way? But I think the best thing that happened to me is definitely having having created an amazing community of students and like-minded light workers and light leaders that are here to change the world, visionaries, change makers, people that are incredible. And having all of these women come into my life and all of them sharing their own stories, seeing their challenges, seeing everything that they are going through, and actually really, understanding and realizing that we are stronger together. And so building a platform of beautiful women that are here to be the change makers has definitely been the best thing that's happened to me in the last 12 months. And putting my work out there, having the courage and the confidence to grab the bull by the horns and go, I'm doing it. No matter what happens, I'm just doing it. And I don't feel like I have a worse thing that happened. I suppose, going through the upgrades, and this is more on a spiritual level, going through the upgrades and moving through the self-doubt, moving through the self-worth issues, which I'm a human being, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And so we always have these emotions that we go through. And it's really about navigating what is truth and what is not. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge that I've had over the last year, is really to share the truth with the world. And the truth of the world is not what people want to hear necessarily.
I could agree with that. Definitely. I
Yeah.
want to ask before we kind of dive in. I've been hearing this a lot, and you mentioned it also. Light workers. Can you kind of, you said like two or three things actually in that same
Yeah.
sentence, but can you kind of explain to us who or what that is?
Sure. So a light worker is a soul that has a calling here to bring change, to create transformation. They work in the light. So basically their soul calling is here to bring healing to the world, to share the truth with the world, to really break down the paradigms of control, or this old foundations of control, and to bring light, to shine a light on the darkness, so that people can awaken, they can come to awareness, they can come to consciousness. And there's many different people that do it. And it could be, through healing, through coaching, through mediumship. It could be in many different ways. And there's, so many different light workers, even nurses and teachers and firefighters, and even lawyers can be light workers. So it's about shining the light on the darkness. And then there's light leaders, which I mentioned as well. And those people that are really rising up and taking the lead as these light workers, and taking their work and, like I said, courageously moving forward to bring a change to this world that is so needed.
Thank you for saying that, because I didn't know that. I actually,
Mm.
in my mind, figured a light worker was more of a spiritual way of
Mm.
acknowledging somebody. So that's interesting. I
Yeah, it is
appreciate
very spiritual, of course, yes, but we are here having a human experience. So I try really balancing that really high woo-woo spirituality with really anchoring it into reality. So I feel like people will understand that more, versus making it really quite high level spiritual. But yes, it is. It's people that's working in the spiritual realms, that's doing the energetic work, that's really here to bring the change, shifting timelines, for humanity through their choices, their conscious choices as well. So it's a lot more intricate. It's a lot more high level. But yeah, bringing it really down, it's like light workers are here to shine the light on the darkness. And in whichever way we do that, that's what we are being called to do through our
That's
soul
great.
work.
That's
Mm.
great. So I'm going to bring a question up, but actually has to do a lot with what I was just going to go into. So this is great. Fourth girl's asking, are you always aware that you're in the position of a light worker? And my question was going to be, because I know that your grandmother first kind of opened this up for you slightly, but you weren't
Mm.
quite ready to receive. So to kind of go along with fourth girl, I'm also asking, like, do you always know? And like, how did you, what does your journey look like? How did you come into it?
Mm. Yeah, I actually wrote about this in my book, Unapologetic, about my life journey, how I always knew as a child that I was different. I knew that there was something different about me. I saw the beauty in life. I saw the minute detail. I would look at a leaf and look at the dew moving down the leaf, and that was beautiful to me. And so I saw the the things that people often look past. I was in nature a lot as a child. I loved being in the trees, but I had this sense that there was something more beyond this world. I always had this, and I always saw the better in people. I could see the darkness and I could see their light, and I had all my psychic senses wide open. So I would, as a young child, have spirit in my room and basically have them sitting on my bed and wanting to communicate with me. But I grew up in a family that was very Christian, and so they didn't believe in spirits and things like that. And so I grew up really afraid of my gifts, and I grew up really afraid of who I was when I was a young child. And my grandmother was actually the first one. She used to get these really painful shoulders. And so she used to say to me, can you just put your hands on me and give them a rub? And I used to, put my hands on her, give her a rub. And she used to say to me, you have healing hands. And she would feel so much better afterwards. And I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't know what she was talking about. I just went through life. But I could see things that people couldn't see. I could sense things that people couldn't sense necessarily. I knew something before it even happened. So my question, the answer about, yes, you do have a sense of knowing that you are different, or that there's something different going on here. You have an expanded awareness. This is probably what I can call it, an expanded awareness of the world around you. You can see things from a bird's eye view instead of really looking, from the inside out. You kind of see the bigger picture. So yeah, every single person have the ability to be a light worker. Every single person. And it basically works with intention. Is your intention good, to do good here in this world? Are you listening to the truth, your soul calling that is coming from within you? Are you following the guidance of your heart? Okay. And I guess my journey was basically when my grandmother, I forgot all of that. I didn't remember a thing until later in the years, when I went to see a psychic medium. And she sat, and I'm sitting in front of her. This was after a huge accident that I had been in Melbourne, and that literally changed my life. Okay, now I can tell you more about that if you want to know more about that, but that was the catalyst to a lot of change in my life. And I remember sitting there, and she's looking at me saying, she's looking around me at the back going, oh, you have quite a big spirit team here, don't you? And I remember sitting there going, yes, I do. And at that moment, having this real remembrance of, holy moly, when I was young, I used to see spirit. I used to have them wanting to communicate with me, but because I was afraid, I used to sleep with my blanket over my head the whole time and a light on because I was so afraid. So we mustn't be afraid of our abilities. And right now, there's so many of these light workers that are being awakened, that is coming to consciousness. And it's really about celebrating that, celebrating our gifts, celebrating who we are. And we are remembering who we are, that we have abilities beyond this physical.